Mm-hmm. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Mm. Let's go. No, we kind of late, man, but I had to take care of some stuff that was very important. So I had to, push the time back a little bit, man, because unfortunately things happen. So we gonna, we here now, man. But what's popping with everybody? Show some love to the show. You already know. Hype the video too, man. Hyping the video works a lot too, man. So we need people to slide through and hype the video up too, because I think hyping the video is almost. Hold on. Yeah. What's up, brothers? What's up, brothers? We here. Yeah, hyping the video does more than the likes. That's what I believe. Hmm. Had to switch that mic up, man, because we was. So it is what it is. Yeah, hype that video up. Now you got a woman that be making videos about Anton Daniels. She's done some videos on Anton, and some of those videos do great numbers. And it's like for what? It's really I didn't really hear her say. She didn't say anything that she didn't say anything that was enlightening. She didn't say anything that nobody else haven't said already. So I said, what, let me look at this video, man. If she say something like now when she said he was a sellout, she's right about that. Of course he's a sellout. That's common knowledge. That's just common knowledge. Everybody knows that. Now it's just common knowledge. Now, one thing you got to know about women don't want to hear the truth about anything, right? Like they don't want you to criticize them. They only want praise. That's what makes it hard for a lot of brothers in the FBA community to really criticize women. And I'm not saying they got to make their content about criticizing women all the time, but it's sometimes these women deserve some criticism. They deserve some pushback. And a lot of brothers in these conscious communities, they really can't do that, because a lot of them get support from black women. So they're compromised to a degree, so they really can't hold them accountable, even when it's needed. You know, when constructive criticism is needed, they can't do it. That's why I want my channel to be like, we got a few females over here that support, but it's mainly men who support, because once you start doing content for women, you put yourself in a compromised position because you can't criticize them even when it's needed. So I never wanted to depend on females for financial support, because all you got to do is say something they don't like, they're gonna turn on you. So I never wanted to depend on ladies for financial support. Now, if ladies do support me, that means that they agree with the stuff that I'm saying, but I don't have to kiss their behind to gain their support, you know. Red, 70% of black men are leaving black women in relationships, marriage, and dating and starting families. So it's a lot of brothers are done with black women. Women hate honest. Look in the mirror. Shout out to O Dog. Yeah, man. When you make content like that, like when you make FBA content or content in the conscious black community, you can forget about holding black women accountable for anything, even when they deserve it. You know, all they want to hear is immigrants, tethers, and white supremacists. That's all they want to hear. Or you can criticize black men for the things that they need to do. Nobody's going to have a problem with that. Then you have the black conservatives. They can't hold white people accountable. So it's like, you can make a lot of money being a black conservative, but at the same time, you're a hypocrite because black conservatives can't hold white folks accountable for anything unless they're talking about liberals. And they can only criticize liberals to a certain extent. They got to tread lightly with that. So I see the flaws on both sides, man. Being a pro-black man in the black community, you can't really hold black women accountable without them getting pissed off. If you become a black conservative, you can't hold white folks accountable. You can only talk about black people. What I'm saying is this. I'm talking about on social media. I'm not talking about a woman taking care of you. What I'm saying is, if most of your fan base are women, then you're doing a whole lot of pandering. Show me a man that has a large female fan base on YouTube, and I'll show you a man that's pandering to women. You're gonna have some women that rock with you because you do have some. You have some women out here who say, "Damn, you know what? You are telling the truth. We might not like it, but damn it, it is true." So I got some black women who rock with me, but those are far and few. Those are far and few. So they most of them don't want to hear you criticize them, right? Even if you're doing it out of love. When you're speaking the truth as a man, 85% of your audience is going to be men. And you might have like 15% of a female audience. Show me a man with a large female audience, I'll show you a man who's pandering to women, especially in the black community. Show me a black man who creates content and most of his followers are women. He's pandering. Most of your audience should be like 85% men, 15% women. If you're being honest with your people. Now, if your audience is 50% men, 50% women, yeah, you're pandering. For sure. Look at Dr. Umar. Look at Dr. Umar, right? Use Dr. Umar for an example. Dr. Umar has a large female fan base because he calls black women queens. And he ain't married not one black woman, but he's in everybody else's business, talking about everybody else's relationships, talking about everybody else's marriage. He calls black women queens every day, and he ain't married not one black woman, not one black woman. He ain't married one of them. But that's black women. So how you gonna listen to a man call y'all queens every day, and he ain't married not one black woman, and he got baby mamas? But he's in everybody else's business about what they need to be doing in their marriage. That's what I mean when I say a lot of pro-black men be pandering to black women. Black queens forever and snow bunnies never. And he ain't married not one of those black females and don't plan on marrying one of them females. Anyway, let's get into this content, man.
Mm-hmm.
More.
Let me see what this chick name is, man. I gotta get Lakeisha Shakisha. Oh my God, you already know what you're dealing with. Her name is Lakeisha. Lakeisha Keisha. My God, man. Let's see what Keisha had to say about Anton Daniel.
Not surprised. Now we're going to get into the commentary on this video, and it's going to get really graphic when Anton Daniels decides to drag one of his panel guests, black woman, and tells her about her vagina, and it just gets crazy from there. We've been talking about this guy for some time. I'm going to go backwards, and then I'm going to go to the front so you guys can see where this resulted from, which was pretty much nothing. But let's get into it.
And no kind of commitment, no ring, no respect for your parents. He ain't decided to honor you.
You're
He
so
just fucking
honorable in
on
your
you
marriage.
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
He get all of the pussy and no kind
Yeah.
of responsibility for you whatsoever.
Okay.
And you got the nerve to talk about somebody in a relationship?
Anton, we were talking about balance. You said fuck balance, and I said that may work for you. And now you're talking about me being married or not. Who gives a fuck? Why are you so invested?
I care.
Why are you so invested whether or not I get married out the sauce? You stay married over there and not find balance, and let's continue the conversation.
No, I would like to know.
I'm not married.
I would like to know, and you don't have to answer the question. You're not. You're just gonna get mad about it. Why do you give up pussy for free?
I'm not gonna.
That's a legitimate question, though, right? You know, that's a legitimate question. Seriously.
Okay. And that is funny. I don't understand where these people find the humor in these jokes. It's absolutely not funny. So let me give y'all a little backstory. They are having a dialogue on, do women want men that are busy with work? So the question was to Anton, do you want to find balance? He said, absolutely not. He basically said, even if he's working 24 hours straight, he is not going to find time. He's going to keep going until he's pretty much ready to find time. He said he's not changing up nothing for no chick. It's pretty much.
Why are you worried about what Anton Daniels is doing? If his wife ain't complaining, then what are you talking about? Clearly, his wife doesn't have a problem with him working hard. He's the reason that they have a luxurious lifestyle. Don't nobody want to hear what Keisha or Jazz has to say about it. This is the thing. If his wife don't have a problem with it, why do you have a problem with it? What Anton is saying is these women go from relationship to relationship, and none of them are married. None of them are married, and the majority are baby mamas. I don't agree with Anton Daniels. I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but he's right about that. Most of these women with opinions, they're baby mamas and they're not married, but they're the most opinionated. The most opinionated women are the main ones who are unmarried, running their damn mouth all day. So I had to agree with him on that.
What he said. So that led Jazz to say, well, pretty much you don't want to make time for her. Well, maybe she doesn't want to make time for you. Maybe y'all just, and this is where it led from there.
Talk about my vagina to you, nigga.
Why do you give up box for free then?
Why are you asking me inappropriate ass questions?
It's not inappropriate.
It is. Why
How is that inappropriate to talk about somebody's? I mean,
the reason why he said that, sir, because Jazz is always running her mouth. So he's saying, what he's saying is, you're not married, and I don't think nobody plans on marrying you, right? Because you got a big mouth, you're combative, and you talk too much. But you always got an opinion about somebody else's relationship, and you ain't married. Most of these females on social media are baby mamas. They got big mouths and they're not married, but they want to be in everybody else's business. Dr. Umar calls black women queens every day. He ain't gonna marry one. He's not gonna marry one of those chicks. None of them. But they'll listen to Umar say these nice things about him all day. Black queens, and he don't even plan on wifing up no black woman. Most of the time, man, let's continue.
Like if she said, Anton, is it true that short, stocky men has a little, do y'all have little peepees? That would have been inappropriate. This man is sitting up here talking about this lady's vagina. This is too much, y'all.
I get why he said that to her, right? I get why he said that. He's saying, like, you got all these opinions, but you're not married. And I don't think nobody's going to marry you anytime soon. But in the meantime, you giving up that box. Like, when you meet these women and they say, well, I'm dating. Yes. Or they'll say, I'm single. When they say I'm single, it doesn't mean that they're not out here having sex. So what they're saying is they'll date casually and have sex with different men until they find some simp to wife them up. My thing is this. Why would you wife a woman up that was already having sex with other men? What could she give you that she haven't given to other men? You're just marrying this woman because you want to keep her, but she ain't doing nothing special. These women don't even say themselves for their husbands. but they'll complain about the men in the dating market, but they're sleeping with the same men that they complain about. So you're going to wait. Listen, you're going to wait until this woman get tired of running the streets, and you're going to be the simp that's going to wipe her up after she done had all this casual sex with different men in the dating scene. So when she gets tired of having casual sex, sleeping with different men, you gonna wipe her up after that? Man, you dudes are crazy. If she can't save herself for her husband, she don't deserve no marriage. You got dudes out here wiping up chicks who was just in a dating game, sleeping with different men. And you were the idiot who was dumb enough to wipe her up. Listen, homie, you ain't got to marry these women. Listen, you don't have to marry these women to gain access to their box. Because for the most part, that's all you guys are getting. You like that in-house sex, but guess what? She done gave that box to several other men. If a woman can't save her body for her husband, she don't deserve to get married. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
Crazy.
Why are you talking to me about my vagina and what I do with it, married man?
I'm asking a question.
I think it's inappropriate.
No, Anton Daniels is a Sambo. He is a coon. Now, I've seen this lady call out Anton Daniels for being a bootlicker, and she was right about that. See, I'm not biased. One of these shows, she was telling Anton that he never holds white people accountable, and in so many words, he was a bootlicker, and she was 100% correct. Now, in this particular situation, I understand why Anton is saying what he's saying to her. He's telling her, like, listen, you're not qualified to be anybody's wife, but you up here running your mouth every day. You running your mouth every day.
I think it's inappropriate to my relationship to even have this discourse. So I'll let you have it, bro.
Well, then you better be careful how you talk to people.
Careful for who? You?
Careful how you talk to people.
Or what, nigga? Oh my God, you really? Never mind. Let's continue.
Why are you so offended? Why are you in your emotions?
I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what your purpose is right now, Anton.
I thought we was having a.
This dude has some serious issues. He says, I thought we were having a conversation. We are no longer having a conversation when it gets to this level of disrespect. But he seems to not get this. I think this guy is like a psychopath or something.
Conversation.
We were, and you said fuck balance.
Well, you better listen.
And I said that probably works for her.
If you don't want to be,
I'm not married. Okay, I'm not married. So what?
If you don't want to be talked to
about my vagina, you're talking about me about my vagina, and I think it's weird.
If you don't want,
I think it's very weird. It is weird, and it's even more weird. You have women sitting on there. You got a man sitting on there. This is some weird ass. This is some weird shit.
To be talked to a certain way, then don't talk to people a certain way.
I didn't talk to you about. No, I didn't talk about what you do with yours.
You did. I'm offended.
So don't talk about what I do with mine.
So you're offended. Well, possibly you shouldn't have these conversations. You said, big boy, that you didn't pretty much care about a relationship when it comes to you accomplishing your goals. She only said what you said.
I'm offended.
Well, grow a backbone, nigga.
See, now I gotta be a nigga, and then you wonder why I asked you why your coochie is dusty.
That's weird. Why are you even talking to women about their coochie?
No, it's not weird.
You're a married man talking to women about their coochie. That's not of God.
You shouldn't.
That's not Christian-like.
Did I call you a nigga?
That's not husband-like.
Did I call you a nigga?
Hold on to the Lord.
Oh, he doesn't like to be called a nigga. Probably he think he's a Caucasian. I don't know. But I mean, you sitting up there talking about this lady's vagina. I mean, what the hell do you think she's going to say to you? I mean, I think she handled this way better than anybody else would have handled it. But you get your little underwear in a bunch because she called you a nigga?
I call you a nigga.
Yeah, because I call
you shouldn't be calling people out of their name if you don't want. All I'm doing is reciprocating energy at this point.
You said what?
I'm reciprocating energy. Stop calling people out of their name and I won't do it to you.
So here's the deal. She called you a nigga after you were, talking her female anatomy, which to me is weird because the conversation was about, do women want men that are busy? And how did y'all get from that to you talking about things like that? This is weird.
Okay.
And this is exactly why we kept bringing up God.
You keep talking about my coochie. You keep taking shots at me, saying that I'm this and I'm that, and now you got a big deal about me. Respect.
I will show you respect. I didn't disrespect you. I didn't call you.
He said he didn't disrespect her. What in the world is wrong with this dude?
Your name.
Because I said probably don't like talking to you either.
I didn't do any of that. And then when you start getting emotional, you think that you can do what you want to do because you just said you're just a woman, so you can do what the fuck you want to do and get away with it.
You feel like
that ain't how it works over here. So, and you know better than that.
Can I say something? What are you doing right now? I don't want to talk about my.
You're not a victim. You getting the energy that you put out there. You getting the energy that you put out there. Be nice and I'll be nice to you. Be nice and I'll be nice to you.
Yeah. I'll be kind.
And I'll be kind back. But the minute that you go under, I'm gonna go lower.
Yeah. Okay, babe. You got it. You win. W. Gold star for Anton. Wait, I think I got a
why you gotta get the last word?
This dude acts like a female. Why you gotta get the last word? Arguing with women all the time. This dude is freaking weird.
Yeah.
Why you gotta get the last word?
Give you a round of applause on my thing. Can you hear?
Why you gotta get the last word?
You can't hear it.
Why we just gonna have an amicable disagreement and move our way?
Yeah, you want it to be amicable? Are you after you then?
Or like, we can.
I don't think he knows what amicable means. This is too much, y'all.
You go low.
This inappropriately talked about.
This ain't even remotely as low as I can go.
We know you can go straight to hell. We know that.
Oh man, you don't know the old Anton. The old Anton was different.
I don't know why you choosing this opportunity to do that.
I'm chilling.
Okay, so
I ain't got on no black hoodie, nothing. I'm chilling.
So chill.
No black Air Forces.
Nothing. No, none of that. I'm chilling.
Yo, y'all good, man. Y'all doing
this a little chin tap. It's
all love. Y'all we good. Let's move on, dog.
This nigga ain't had a good time.
We still talking. We agreed to go our separate ways with disagreements, and you still want to keep talking.
Wow. What was the topic?
We were talking about balance in a relationship. Like if you want somebody
to be busy with work.
I was just saying, like, it's important to find balance. And Anton was like, fuck that.
See, a lot of black men, like Anton Daniels is a Sambo. That's not up for debate. We know he is. But see, a lot of black men are they're used to dealing with women who are overly opinionated, that runs their mouth so much. So they don't have a problem with this behavior because they're used to dealing with this shit. You know, my thing is once you step in the arena, you got to have thick skin. Ain't nobody going to handle you with kid gloves out here.
Why are you talking to me?
Let it go. Let it go, man.
I was recapping the conversation.
Okay, and then I called your coochie Dusty, and I'm recapping the conversation too.
Dog, Anton.
You're weird.
At this point, guys, we don't even need to rewind it. I mean, for what? So pretty much they were just having a discussion, as I just stated, about do women want men that are busy? The only thing she stated was what he stated. He's pretty much said,
listen, man, you can't worry about what women want, man, because trust and believe, man, when you get your paper right and you start making moves, the women gonna flock to you. The women gonna come for you. They're gonna come. So it's a waste of your time worrying about what women want. Women don't even know what they want half of the time. You know, if you wasn't working, she'll say you broke and you need to do something. Now, once you start working and you start taking care of business, she gonna have a problem with that. So if you work too much, that's a problem. And if you don't work at all, that's a problem. Women always switch things up. They always change. So you can't focus on what women want. Do what's best for you as a man. It's the woman's job to follow your league. And if she ain't with the program, then find a woman who will get with the program. But don't waste your time worrying about what women want. Get your paper and the women will flock to you regardless. Let me tell you something. Do you think these women date these men with money because they're great guys? No, they know a lot of these men have other women, but they tolerate it because they want the money. They want to benefit from the money these men got. So they don't really care about character like that. Look at their baby daddies. A lot of these women, they be running their mouth. Look at the dudes they had babies with. Are you really gonna? Do you really value her opinion? Look at some of the dudes these chicks had babies with. Look at the chicks they had babies with. Then look at the dudes these chicks had. Look at the guys they had babies by. My thing is this. You don't really see married women who are feminine that's happy on here running their mouth like that. It's usually the chicks who are not married. They got baby daddies, and they didn't call multiple bodies over the years. Though these are the main chicks on social media that's running their mouth, giving the most advice and running their mouth. Because a married woman ain't got no damn business on social media running her mouth and everybody else's business. It's always these chicks who are still dating multiple men, sleeping with different men. They got baby daddies, and these are the main ones running their damn mouth all day.
And I'm not going to slow down or stop doing what I'm doing for no woman. And it went from that to what y'all just heard. This dude is a real disgusting person. I don't know what else to say. I mean, as we have stated on this channel, you know, time and time again, he don't like black women. I don't even think he liked black people. But that was really disgusting. And thank you to the person who told me about that video, because we just gonna expose this dude. Anton Daniels does it again, drags another black woman, talking about her vagina, and how dusty it is and why she not married. And another thing, it is a typical narcissist that wants to try to make somebody feel a certain way for not having a certain thing. When reality, some people don't want to be married, and partially is because of men like Anton. Anton, your own wife said that you were a person with many different personalities, and you are, you know, want to tease somebody about not being married. Some people are lucky that they don't have a person like you.
Well, Anton Daniels, he is what he is, but like I said, man, a lot of these chicks, they don't qualify to have an opinion about anything. Now, he might be a coon, he might be a Sambo. Nobody's debating that. Nobody's debating that.
She's a enemy doesn't mean that we
exactly
are investigating everybody.
And look at this. Look at this. It takes somebody not even from here to recognize how great America is. That's how.
Hey, yo, wait, stop. No, I'm American. First of all, I'm American. I got my citizenship when I was in the fucking military. So first of all, I'm fucking American. You can suck my fucking dick.
So let me ask you a question. What is that mop? What is that mop in the background? No, I'm just playing. What I'm saying is this. You recognize, I've never heard a Trump supporter say anything against him. I commend you, my man from Haiti.
How many Trump supporters do you actually talk to?
I talk to a lot of them. There's nothing he can do wrong.
What's a lot of them? 5, 3, 2, 1?
I'm talking to 7 of them right here. What are you talking about?
And like you never, okay, wait, what's something you like about Trump?
What do I like about him?
Yeah, name me 3 things you like about Trump.
I like the way he bullies his opponents. I like the way I've always admired con artists. I've always admired them because it doesn't take, I've always did. I've always
How's he
been.
a con artist?
No.
He tells
That's
you
not
up front what he's gonna do. I'm deporting all the illegal immigrants. Mass deportation. Oh, why is he deporting my gardener? He's
talking about that
with the criminals
that
and then
15,000
everybody else too.
What's up? Still talking about that 15,000 he lost.
I mean, back to
university.
That's
Oh,
right.
so
I'm with Aaliyah. Well, back to the video. Correct me if I'm
Stephen
wrong.
A. Smith will never be president.
He's not trying to run.
Didn't Stephen support Kamala? So now he's a woman hater. Did he not endorse Kamala?
I don't know who he endorsed. I don't know who he endorsed.
Yeah, he did endorse it.
How many?
We could put
JB,
the
it's funny. Democrats hate billionaires, but JB Pritzker, it's okay now. But we're not gonna
we could put out all fires of any black person, man or woman, being president of the United States. Ain't no more. It's not going to be another one. Trust me.
Wait. What do you like about JB Pritzker? What did he do before Trump got to Chicago, Illinois, to do anything for crime? What did he do? Specifically, and don't say that it's been going down when they just been underreporting crime or not sending police out because they don't have enough police.
They're gonna call you a race baiter if you make content about race issues. They're gonna call you a woman hater if you criticize women. So you got to make the content that you want to make. People are always gonna have something to say, man. You can say things about women that's 100% accurate. They're still gonna label you a woman hater. You can speak about race issues and issues that you can speak about the issues in this country. They're gonna say that you are a race hater. I mean, a race baiter. So either they're gonna label you a race baiter or a woman hater, or maybe even both. You can't criticize. Listen, you can't please everybody, man. You just got to make the content that you want to make. Listen, I criticize Anton all the time, but if he's right about something, I'm like, he's wrong about this, but he's actually right about that. I don't have to like somebody in order to agree with them about something. I can dislike somebody, but I'm still real enough to admit when they're right about something.
Actually go out and handle these cases. Come on now.
Listen. We was talking about Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to go back to
change the goalposts. I like that.
Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Listen, you want to defend a rapist. I'm not into that.
That's defamation.
Stay on topic. Let's talk shit to try to change topic.
Let's talk about Stephen A. Smith. I'm not talking about
you're the one that brought up Trump. You always bring up Trump shampoo, and now you want to say you don't want to talk about Trump. Stop bringing his name up. You've been bringing up his name ever since you began talking. Like nobody's talking about Trump.
All right, let's go to the next clip real quick. Then we're gonna get into some white fatigue stuff after this. We're gonna get into some of this white fatigue stuff.
Whatever exists within them.
That is self-hate.
I've never seen a clip of him where he actually praises a black woman.
That's what I'm saying. He's got black woman issue. He's got to deal with. But
for those who are listening, that was.
Now, this is why, especially black men who are Democrats. Like, if you're a black man, you're a Democrat. That's That's a matriarchal society. Black men who are Democrats don't lead their women, they follow their women. Why do you think Tiffany Cross said that black men need to get on board with them and vote the same way that they vote? Because black women in that community don't want patriarchy. Black women in that community want men to spend their money, but they still want to be able to call the shots. Black men in the Democratic Party are castrated. They're castrated. Look at Michelle Obama. Look at how Michelle Obama disrespects Barack Obama all the time. But Barack Obama is feminine. Barack Obama is not masculine. That's a prime example of what a relationship looks like in black households when they're Democrats. The woman runs her mouth and she disrespects the man. That's the dynamic when you got a black man and a black woman and they're both Democrats. It's a matriarchal society over there. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but damn, I got to be honest about that. 90% of black men who are Democrats are castrated. They're castrated males.
Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jasmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jasmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst.
And then most of your Republicans, they're, your black conservatives who are Republicans, they're Sambos. Black men who are Democrats, they're castrated. They let their women run their mouth. They let their women run the show. And then a lot of black men who are conservatives, they're Sambos. So you can't win with either side. The best thing for you to do as a black man is to become independent, an independent thinker. That's the best thing you could do moving forward.
The American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context.
What is this poll and where was it done and who was spoken to and how many people and what's the sample size? And did they poll everybody or did they just poll us? Stop, man. Just stop. Let me hear the rest of this nonsense.
He is on an island unto himself.
Because caping for some
because people see her largely working on our behalf. And I also want to say we recently had Jasmine Crockett on. It was on my solo pod, and Jasmine is on the show talking about having to go get fit for a bulletproof vest. So this is not the time for this.
Yeah.
And
I promise you, nobody gives a flying F about Jasmine Crockett and trying to take her out. She is a threat to nobody. And nobody, like, she's just she's a talking head, to put it lightly. And I hate when these suckers, and this is what we talk about when it comes to simping, right? Because they'll say something like, oh man, I've never seen him praised. They must got a problem with black women. No, that's not necessarily true. Or maybe they're just criticizing your talking points because they don't necessarily rock with what it is that you stand for from a political perspective. It has nothing to do with celebrating a black woman or anything like that. Stop it, bro. And then, like, if that's the strongest argument that you have against Stephen A., we got a bigger problem on our hands.
it is very dangerous for this. So I hear you even on the danger, even on campuses, but I wanted to bring this in because this is the kind of messaging they're hearing on.
I told you, man, black men who are Democrats, they're castrated. That's why they all voted for female leadership. They voted for female leadership. So you got conservatives who are Sambos who can't criticize white people, but they spend all day criticizing black people. Those are the black conservatives. Then you have black men who are Democrats. That is a matriarchal society. That is a slave plantation over there. I mean, both sides represent slave plantations, but what I'm saying is, I don't know who's worse, man. Men who are Democrats. Well, I'm not going to say, because I know men who are Republicans that are not Sambos, and I met some men who are Democrats that are not castrated, right? But on average, black men who are Democrats are castrated, right? They allow their females to run their mouth. They allow their women to run the show. Both of these chicks right here are not fit for any masculine man. You're not going to get along with women like this, bro. You can try your best. You're not going to be able to reason with them. You're not going to get along with them. It takes a castrated male to get along with Tiffany Cross or this other chick right here. You're not going to get along with them. Not if you stand on manly principles. Females like this like men who submit to them. They want their men to submit to them. Michelle Obama wants Barack Obama to submit to her.
Their sports platforms, on talk radio, all the time. There is a growing divide between black men and black women.
Oh my God.
And I think that some of them,
man, that's very common. I know a lot of black men. I know a lot of black families where the women run the show because it's a matriarchal society. That's how the Democrats set it up. Women can run their mouth, say whatever they want to say with no consequences. They're sexually liberated and they claim to be highly educated.
Are also leaning more conservative in their talking points.
From Texas, and Texas has this open carry law. Governor Abbott is such a dangerous, problematic
person. He sets up a false argument.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How much attention is this taken away from you getting whatever you need for your district? The Republicans control the House of Representatives, the Senate and the White House. They not letting her get ish for her districts. And so the best she can do right now, not just for her district, but for the country, is to speak up and hold them to account at every single level.
This is the worst ever, bro. And I can't wait to break this down in its entirety, but I can't stand a simp. I really can't, bro. Let me hear the rest of this. Or let me hear a good portion of it, and then we're going to come back and break this down.
She does.
Are there black men that's listening to Stephen A. before?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but they would take that and take it seriously.
There are people who like
white men.
Yeah, and they think that
white men.
They think that Jasmine Crockett talks with her neck.
No, I'm not just saying
it's too loud and snaps her fingers and all, and they caricature her like he's doing.
Yeah.
And so my point though is that I didn't like the back and forth with Jasmine Crockett and Nancy Mace or whoever it was, right? But
Nancy Mace is the one that got violent. She was the one that said, "Let's take it outside."
I know them both very well.
Taylor Greene.
I know them both very well, and that just because I was in the legislature, so I look at that totally different. However, I will tell you that there is a through line between.
See, we can't just talk about black women because black men are weak too. You got a lot of black women who don't understand how a real society, a patriarchal society should be ran. But how could you expect that? Most of them were raised by single mothers. And if they did have fathers, they had feminine fathers who allowed their mothers to wear the pants. So the problem in the black community is you got black women who are feminists, then you got black men who are weak. You got weak, castrated black men, and then you have black females who want to run their mouth all day and be overly opinionated about everything that's going on. That's the reality right there, brothers. If you show me a loudmouth woman that's overly opinionated, I can show you a weak black man that's dealing with her. You got a loudmouth masculine female that's overly opinionated. You always gonna have a weak man that's dealing with her. Look at Barack Obama. Look at all the nonsense he tolerates from Michelle Obama. Barack Obama is not running that household. Michelle Obama can say whatever she want to say. Michelle Obama got on national TV and told black women to leave their husbands if their husbands don't vote for Kamala Harris. And Barack Obama allowed his wife to say that stupid crap live on television because he has no backbone.
Between the Ice Cubes and the Jason Whitlocks and the Stephen A. Smiths. And these individuals, and Ice Cube may be slightly different than the other two.
Slightly.
But these individuals have been around since we have been on this freedom struggle. There have always been individuals out there which exhibit behaviors of charlatans who utilize, some people are in it for the change and some people are in it for the change, right? And I think that that's indicative. And they find the easiest path to the front of the line. And Stephen A. Smith is someone who doesn't have the depth to talk about
the easiest path to the front of the line
about House oversight or the appropriations process, right? And how you're able to bring resources back to your community or what Jasmine is doing. So he rather lampoon her or instead of having a constructive conversation. And so I've said
similarly to how Jasmine Crockett lampoons other people, like Republicans that she doesn't necessarily care about because she's not necessarily speaking on the issue.
Well, imagine you dealing with a woman like Jasmine Crockett or Tiffany Cross or Fannie Willis. Come on, black men. Y'all got to stop being afraid to correct this bad behavior in these women. Now, we got a lot of simps who these simps are part of the problem as well. These are castrated males, no doubt. But imagine you in a relationship with a female who runs her mouth like Jasmine Crockett. Imagine you in a relationship with a woman like Tiffany Cross who just say stupid crap all day. Imagine you as a black man dealing with that.
Issues and the problems and how to solve them and working across the aisle. And she also was elected at a time where she's had power the majority of the time when the Trump administration wasn't even in power. But let's continue.
I've had to say about Stephen A. Smith in my book, anywhere I can. I don't have a lot of use for him in the political dialogue. I think that there are individuals who he matriculated with at Winston-Salem State University that are extremely disappointed about the man he's become.
It's so disheartening to me. It's frustrating, one, because anytime we speak on this, it's like man haters and all this. But I feel such confidence in black men. I've never bought into the idea that all these black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are, and the data shows that there have been
Democrats. See, black women want you to be a Democrat, right? They want you to be a Democrat because they want you to feed into that mindset that women should be allowed to be overly opinionated. They should be sexually liberated. And a lot of them claim to be educated when in reality, a lot of them have worthless degrees that don't make any money at the end of the day. Right. And I'm not here to listen. I'm just here to give you the facts. A lot of black men, unfortunately, they are weak. And a lot of these black females, they run their damn mouth too much. That's what you get in the black community, especially the ones who subscribe to the Democratic Party.
And inroads among black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category.
Now, you see how she said when men are frustrated with the system, they fight us. Right? It has nothing to do with dealing with the system. I know men who are not dealing with the system at all. They're just tired of the women that they have to deal with or that they choose to deal with, because you don't have to deal with anybody. But see, it's no accountability for the woman. She said when black men are frustrated with the system, then they take the anger out on the women. No, maybe they're just calling you out for your nonsense. Has nothing to do with him being mad at the system. And you got black men who sit up there and let these females say this stupid crap, and they sit up there and they say nothing. He allowed this woman to say some of the dumbest crap ever, and did not once did he say, hold on, you wrong about that, and here's why.
And it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's.
Tiffany Cross is a feminist. Jasmine Crockett is a feminist. Democrat women by large are feminists. You know how many feminists you have in the pro-black? Listen, not only do you got a lot of women in the church, they're feminists. And then you have a lot of women who claim to be pro-black. They're pro-black feminists. Shout out to the FBA community, because I know some women who understand and they rock with us, but at the same time, I got to be honest with you. By large, in our community, even a lot of these women who claim to be conscious, they are feminists themselves, bruh. You know how many pro-black feminist females that I met? Several of them.
Have been inroads among black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so
mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. Listen, man, see, this is feminism. I got to be real with you, ladies. Black men ain't mad at your education. I got to be real with black women. Why would we be mad at black women? Black women have the most debt in this country. And they always try to uplift themselves by saying that we ain't making the cut. The reality of it is this, man. And I'm not saying this to put black women down, but I got to be honest to set the record straight. Black women have the most overall debt here in America. They have the most evictions and they have the most overall debt. There's nothing to be jealous about. Now, hopefully they could fix their situation. I'm not celebrating that, but I have to be honest because that is a fact. You can check the stats yourself. I know a lot of people with college degrees right now. Guess what? They got a lot of debt and a lot of them have bad credit and they are struggling. Black men are not worried about your college degrees. Nobody cares about that. If your college degree works for you, then cool, good for you. Nobody cares about that. But don't sit up here and say that black men are mad at black women because they surpass us on college campus. Because they surpass us on college campuses. A lot of our women have worthless degrees that doesn't even make them money today. Most of these people with college degrees, they're not even making money off of what they went to school for. They got a whole lot of college debt and they ain't making no money. You got a worthless degree that you got a worthless degree and you can't even get paid by having that degree. And you got a lot of debt and your credit is bad as a result of accumulating all of that student loan debt. Nobody's jealous of you. Nobody cares about you, going to college and going to school. If that's what you want to do, fine. But don't come up here on TV talking about black men is just mad because we surpassing them. Man, we don't care about that. You got a lot of brothers who make good money and they didn't even go to college. They didn't graduate college. You ain't got to graduate college to be successful. You don't even need to go to college to be successful. Now, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, yeah, man, you got to go to college for that. But you ain't got to go to college to become a multimillionaire to be successful in this country. You don't even need that shit no more. This ain't the 1970s or the 1980s where you got to go to college to become successful. Those days are over. They just mad because we surpassed them in college. And you got black men who listen to this nonsense, who tolerate women who talk like that. That's what I mean when I say we got a lot of weak black men in our community, castrated males, and the majority of them are Democrats.
Because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us. What am I getting wrong?
You a Democrat. You align with your oppressors. The Ku Klux Klan was started by Democrats. This woman is stupid. She's an idiot. The Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan. What she's saying is men who criticize us are the ones who align with the oppressors. No, you aligned yourself with the oppressor a long time ago, you dummy. And the problem is this, man. We got way too many women in our community who think like this, man. It's not a small percentage of them, homie. It'd be one thing if it was only a small percentage of them who had this mindset. It's not a small percentage, homie. There's a lot of women, well over 50% of women in the black community have this mentality. They've been indoctrinated. They went to college and they've been indoctrinated, far from educated. College don't teach you how to be a woman. College doesn't teach you family values, and they can't teach you how to be a woman in school. They can't teach you how to be a woman in college. They are not. College ain't going to teach you how to be a wife. College ain't going to teach you how to be feminine.
This is so silly. This is the most silly argument.
Make sure that you guys bless the super chat. Let's get some people to bless the super chat. Let's get some people to bless the cash app. This conversation is dumb, man. If you can tolerate a woman like this, something is wrong with you. You got to be a castrated male to tolerate a Tiffany Cross and all this nonsense she been talking. You got to be a castrated male to tolerate a Jasmine Crockett and it's nonsense that she's talking. Only castrated males deal with women like this.
I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category
Hey,
too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us. What am I getting wrong?
This is so silly, bro. This is the most silly argument ever. And so the thing that I'm wondering is, why does it have to be a gender war, and why can't it be based off of culture, right? And what I mean by that is, number one, nobody is jealous of black women. Like, if we really want to break down the numbers, really, and then I'm married to a black woman, as y'all know, for well over 2 decades. I don't know what their situation is, nor is it relevant, but let's have a conversation really quick.
See, we can easily criticize Anton Daniels, and I do that all the time. But a lot of these men, they're too afraid to criticize this behavior in the women. We already know he's a Sambo. We know he's a sellout, but he is right about some of the stuff that he's saying when it comes to Democrats and how a lot of our women behave in this country. He's actually right about that. Tiffany Cross, listen. Tiffany Cross Tiffany Cross does not represent a minority of women in our community. Well over 50% of women in our community think like Tiffany Cross. Well over 50% of women in our community think like Jasmine Crockett. These women are not rare. They're easy to find in our community. Our communities is oversaturated with women who think like Tiffany Cross, with women who think like Jasmine Crockett. These women are not rare. But a lot of these pro-blacks won't say anything about it. They're too afraid to give black women some constructive criticism. I'm not saying you got to tear them down, but at some point you got to correct them. See, it's your job as a man to correct. And if you cannot correct her, then you should not protect her. If she can't take correction, she don't deserve protection. If a woman can accept correction, she don't deserve protection. She don't deserve provision. And way too many men in the black community are too afraid to be honest with black women. So they pander to them to make easy money. And they'll just talk about tethers, immigrants, and white supremacists, but they ignore nonsense like this. Hit the like button, man.
Nobody is jealous of black women. Like, if we really want to break down the numbers, really, and then I'm married to a black woman, as y'all know, for well over 2 decades. I don't know what their situation is, nor is it relevant, but let's have a conversation really quickly. We know that you guys are the most in debt, but yet you say you are the most educated, but the things that you've educated yourself in is not necessarily beneficial to yourselves or to society. We know that you have the most student loan debt. We know that, you are the least married. We also understand that exponentially you are the most single mothers, like, across the board, right? So when it comes to you guys deciding and determining what is supposed to happen within a culture, if we go back to Barack Obama, right? Because identity politics has plagued the United States of America and the black community at large. If you want to go back to Barack Obama, how has he?
Well, hold on. We can't say that, Anton. I'm going to show you where Anton Daniels is wrong. White people play identity politics. We've only had one black president, so white people play identity politics, fool. See, I'm going to get on Anton Daniels' head when it's necessary. White people play identity politics. If they didn't play identity politics, we would have way more than one black president in this country. You would see a few black faces when it comes to people who was the president of this country. You can't tell black people to stop playing identity politics when white people are notorious for playing identity politics. That's why they only put white people in office. That's why they only keep white men in office. Why? Because by large, white people play identity politics. You're not going to just throw this off on black people, buddy. I'm sorry. I ain't going to let you do it.
Benefited you specifically. He has not. There has not been any Democrats that has benefited the black community or America at large, right?
White people are notorious for playing identity politics. That's why 99.9% of all presidents are white men. That is identity politics, sir. What are you talking about?
And so when we start to divide ourselves, because I look at this podcast to an extent as a black supremacy pod, which I still support freedom of speech and no.
There's no such thing as black supremacy. Black people don't create laws to oppress nobody. So there's no such thing as black supremacy. Black people don't oppress nobody. We haven't created laws to oppress anybody. So there's no such thing as black supremacy. You sound crazy.
Censorship. When I look at them saying this type of thing, who is oppressed? Who the F is oppressed? That's what I'm trying to understand. And how do they look at somebody? And whenever you have a difference of opinion, right? Whenever you see things differently from them, then it automatically becomes, why aren't you aligned with us? Well, why can't men like Stephen A. Smith and myself and whoever it is that they want to identify, which, I know that they would never identify me because I'm on a whole nother level when it comes to the way that I live my life and my ability to be able to communicate effectively as far as my thoughts from a political perspective and how to swing the election in my specific city or in my state. The thing that I have to ask myself is, why aren't y'all aligned with us? And why do they keep trying to bully men, specifically black men, to come over to their side, which is a tragic mistake? Biblically speaking, women are not even supposed to be the ones that are telling men what to do. Let me hear the rest of this foolishness, bro.
You listening to Steve?
And then when you go to these black churches, now you got female pastors in there, bro. You know why sometimes I'll be ready to throw the towel in the black community? Because you got a lot of black men who won't stand up and they won't say anything about this. You got female pastors in black churches. Now you got women who say they want male leadership. How the hell you want male leadership when you got female pastors and black females by large who are feminists who attend these churches? Listen, by large, a lot of black women who attend these churches, they are feminists. A lot of these pro-black movements, these females are pro-black feminists. And I would never go to a church that has a female pastor. I don't go to church anyway, but I would never go to a church with a female pastor. You know what I'm saying? That goes against the word of God. Women are not meant to be pastors. Men are not supposed to be led by women. You go to a church and you see a female pastor, you need to get the hell up out of there ASAP. Do yourself a favor and get the hell up out of there. Who in their right mind want to go to a church with a female pastor? A woman leading the congregation? Man, that's crazy. Clearly, that goes against the word of God. And you got these weak-ass black men who show up to these churches who has female pastors. Men are not supposed to be led by women. They got a woman leading the congregation, and you got weak-ass black men who sit up there and listen to that stuff.
Stephen A. Smith, and you find anything other than some absolute, pure, self-hating, little dick energy nonsense from that.
As usual, we knew it. We knew it. It always comes back to an ad hominem attack. This is foolishness. This is the reason why she's no longer on MSNBC and her show is trash. This is the reason why, all of them are formers instead of, people that are pushing the culture forward and has a voice. And it's not because they have been censored, and it's not because they are black. It is because they don't know what they're talking about. They're trash. They're not really anything that anybody should look up to from a political perspective. But, everybody has a voice and everybody has an opinion. So opinions are like assholes. Everybody have them.
Half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance. It is sad to me that he even gets an audience of black men. Why aren't black men right now saying, F Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not.
Now they want to cancel people.
Why do black men need to cancel Stephen A. Smith? People should cancel you. And you listen, if somebody canceled Tiffany Cross, you know what she would say? You guys hate black women. You're a misogynist. I don't like Stephen A. Smith. I don't like Tiffany Cross. I don't like Anton Daniels. I don't like none of these people. But if a black man said that we need to cancel Tiffany Cross, you know, the first thing she would say, you guys just hate black women. You're a misogynist. You guys are black woman haters. That's exactly what she would say if a black man said that somebody needs to cancel her.
Trash. Cancel culture is dead. People.
And y'all know I'm telling the truth. That's the first thing Tiffany Cross would say if a black man said that she needed to be canceled. You guys just hate black women. You hate your mother. No, I don't hate my mother. You just need to be canceled. You just need to be quiet. Ain't got nothing to do with my feelings about that. Ain't got nothing to do with me hating my mother or me having a man, please. That's the first thing they would accuse you of. You hate black women because you want Tiffany Cross canceled. But it's okay for her to say that she wants Stephen A canceled. And I don't even like Stephen A. But I got to be honest all across the board with it.
People are able to have their own opinion. And I don't even necessarily feel one way or the other when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. But I support his right to be able to say what he want to do. But they want to now remove your ability to earn and talk about rallying against Stephen A. Smith. Nah, we not doing that no more.
Watching his show anymore. That's what black women do. We organize.
Yeah, but this. You asked the question why.
Yes, tell me why.
So, by the way, I love the usage of adjectives.
I'm sure I messed it up somewhere.
But the answer to the question why is kind of twofold. Black men showed up. We were the third largest demographic voting for. You had black women, you had Jews as a collective, and then you had black men, somewhere between 74, 76% voting for Kamala Harris. And so, yeah, it's not a large number. We still are there. But the slippage you've seen is twofold. The first is that there's been no party, no group, which for the past 20, 30 years has taken the time to listen to black men holistically. And many times we are spoken to about policy. That policy revolves around things like criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
But and marijuana. But very rarely do we have wholesome, fulsome conversations about the black men who are out there struggling to pay for early childhood education, child support, right? You know, how that
wages.
You know, when the craziest thing is when you get locked up for child support, do you know that your child support continues to grow? Of course. Like you're driving.
He's absolutely right on that point. So I will give them credit because I'm objective enough to be able to call a spade. And so I don't think that holistically people are looking. But I mean, that's partly our fault.
All right, let's go to the next clip, man.
Somebody that we forgot about. The Fired Crew. Y'all know who the Fired Crew is? It's everybody that's a part of this podcast. I think this is Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross. The unemployment office. Everybody lost their job that once had an opportunity.
Hold on, man. Let me see something. Shit look like it didn't froze up. Hold on. Hold up. Page unresponsive. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on with this page, man. Yeah, hit the like button, man, if you haven't already. You know what I'm saying? Rebellious. What the fuck? Can y'all hear me? Yeah, man. For some reason, let me see if it'll work because the page was saying unresponsive. So I don't know what that's about right there. Screen sharing is not allowed. Well, you guys heard the show, man. I don't want to drag this thing out no longer than what it has to be. Because
Forgot about the Fired Crew. Y'all know who the Fired Crew is? It's everybody that's a part of this podcast. I think this is Angela Rye, Tiffany Cross. Ah.
Why? Because it's culturally, it's conditioned.
Exactly.
So
no, here go Anton Daniels giving this say he about to start cooning now.
Why is it better parenting from Asians than white parents? Why?
You said what?
While we're having real talk. Why do young black men fight in packs?
White men are known for fighting in packs. When they came to lynch you, it wasn't one person. Why do black men fight in packs? Black men, we have some of the best combat fighters in the history of America. Most of your best boxers were black. Blacks have dominated boxing forever. Even in mixed martial arts, you got a lot of black champions in that. So no, homie, blacks don't need to fight in packs. If that's the case, tell white men to stop fighting in packs. Tell white men to stop lynching and hanging people in sundown towns, and they roll in packs.
America, they're not experienced.
Hey,
doing all right? Yeah, man. How you doing? Good to see you. I need it. You guys all have your beards nice and right. I've never learned how to do this shit.
It's because people come here.
Now watch Anton Daniels. He's right about Democrats and he's right about the feminists that we have in our community. But Anton is a Sambo. Don't get it twisted for 1 second. He is a Sambo. Just because he's right about a few things, he's still wrong about a lot of things at the same time. And we're going to dive into this conversation. Hey, moderators, drop the Cash App in the chat. Why don't you guys bless the super chat? If you appreciate the content, bless the super chat.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a power move. You have me sitting lower.
Yeah, so we can all look down on you.
No, thanks. Well, they said you guys got some people coming in here after the last one?
Yeah, a couple people came
They just
through.
felt like, I think this is the place where white and black people have conversations.
So it was funny. The first person that came last time was he said this out of his own mouth. He was like, I'm Indian, but he had on a MAGA hat.
Okay.
And he walked in and was like, hey, I saw you guys on Crowder. Can I get a cut here? Yeah, I guess so, man. Come on.
Did you have your hand on your piece? You're like, I don't know if you come.
Nah, because he didn't come like that. He didn't have the backpack and the ski mask on. Yeah, he didn't have that on.
Was he nice? Was he good?
He's cool.
Yeah. What do you guys think like when you see someone with a MAGA hat? Because I know we were kind of talking about that last time.
It depends on how they present themselves. To me.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, okay. So what would present themselves in a way that would be like decent versus piece of shit?
Yeah. How some people carry that air of superiority.
Yeah.
And if you present that to me, I'm very conscious of that. If you present that to me, I'm gonna respond appropriately.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
What would be like an air of superiority? Like,
just like certain things you say in conversation, and you know, and like you said, just in the physical nature of these chairs. Well, in conversation, you can physically go up and down and put yourself above or beneath. So when people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, when I do the change my minds and sit with people, I actually kind of slump my shoulders and deliberately kind of make myself smaller, just to not, it's like, you know, what is it, the crab that has the red under its claws is showing danger? So I don't wear red, because apparently that signifies poison. But yeah, no, there's all these body languages experts now, you watching TV, and I'm like, this seems like horse shit. Like,
Anton is going to agree with everything the white man said, right?
To the left, so you can tell he's lying.
Yeah, some of it is horse.
It's like, I saw him on camera. He killed his girlfriend with a butter dish. I don't give a shit what he says.
He took too long to say that answer. He had to think about it. No, he's thinking about what he wants to say.
Yeah.
He don't just spit out. He wants to think about what he's saying.
Last time we talked, we were kind of just, and the reason was just like, you know, often you see in news people just kind of siphon themselves off right into an echo chamber. And I thought it was good. We were just kind of able to see other perspectives. Where do you think the country is now? Like with that? Like,
is that an open question? Or?
Yeah, race relations between, because last time I wanted to get your perspective, and there's a perspective now in the white community. None of us are an ambassador for the entire community, but things have changed quite a bit the last year and a half. Temperatures have gone up. But what do you guys think? What do you think we are in the country?
I'd like to chime in on that.
Yeah.
I'm happy you asked that question. There are a lot of social and economic dynamics at play that have certainly gone, in my opinion, in the wrong direction. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of where we're headed. We are vastly sliding into an autocratic regime here. And yeah, absolutely. I'll give you several reasons. You see, in order to have, you can't have a one-dimensional approach when you're wanting to continue to
Steven Crowder.
Lead from a global perspective, all right? What you see here today is an isolationism approach which has never worked in the past because we don't have an understanding of geography and history, all right? And I'll just simply close by saying you got to understand something. The rest of the world is grossly inferior.
I'm gonna show you something that Steven Crowder ain't talking about right here, real quick. I'm gonna come back. I'm going to show you how full of crap that Steven Crowder really is. You know, he won't talk about white fatigue. He won't talk about the crimes that his peoples commit. Check this out.
Developing this evening, we've now learned the man who police say shot and killed 3 people in Mount Washington this past weekend has also now died. So 2 of the victims were sisters. WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with the update. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. So that suspected gunman was identified by police as 26-year-old Samuel Erickson. They say he killed himself after he shot 3 others. Erickson was initially hospitalized in critical condition. Now, we're also learning from police that Erickson knew at least one of the victims and had a romantic interest in one of them. Police say they're not investigating this as a hate crime. So this happened on Sunday afternoon on Beacon Street in Mount Washington. CPD says Erickson.
Of course, it's not being investigated as a hate crime because it's a white guy. They're going to say he was mentally challenged. He had mental health issues, and they're going to make that excuse.
On Sunday afternoon on Beacon Street in Mount Washington, CPD says Erickson shot and killed Bimnet Doris, Eden Adugna, and Fiva Adugna. When police got there, Bimnet and one of the women were already dead. The other woman, along with Erickson, were taken to the hospital where they both later died. We're told Fiva and Eden were sisters who both worked as pharmacy technicians for Good Sam Hospital. TriHealth telling WLWT they were cherished members of the hospital team, and posts on social media say Bimnet.
So I got a long list of crimes, man, long list of crimes that you know.
Everybody was shocked. Some of the people I talked to were shaking. I was very.
So let's get back to the Crowder thing, man. But I just wanted to show you that Crowder talked about the female on the subway, but he never talks about.
With the way America.
Not once is Steven Crowder going to mention the crimes that white men commit in his video. Not once is he going to mention any of that. And he got the nerve to talk about black fatigue while ignoring the violent crimes that white men commit. I don't even want to talk to somebody. What I would have told Steven Crowder, if you're going to come in here and talk about black fatigue, guess what? I'm going to show you a long list of criminals that comes from your community. And how come you're not talking about the crimes that white men are committing? If you're not going to come in here and be honest about the crimes that your people commit, I don't want to hear nothing.
It's taking shape. And not only that, we're ceding all our best opportunities to China, right? Look around you in the relationships they're fostering with everybody else, which includes Canada, Mexico, and they've even gone as far down.
Things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what, I put it like
historical evidence of groups of white people attacking and chasing black people.
So it's
coming after.
So
like,
when people
we have
say
historical
it's not
evidence
happening now.
So when
I'm just saying,
and that's the point. Is we're at a precipice right now.
That's a part of the historical condition.
Well, sure, but someone today.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I wasn't finished making my point.
Sorry,
I wasn't finished making my point. You know, when like I said, black fatigue, that's the newest mantra that's been put out into society to make people think that, okay, they tired of black people. They tired of what you said, that we can't say anything about black people. We can't do. Well, when you hold all the power, when you hold all the economic rights, when you hold all the things that make this country move, when you're in charge of those things, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what, I put it like this. Black people, white people got the firecrackers, we got the stem. That's it. Y'all got the power. The power is placed outside of the black community. We're charged with all the negative things. Those are the things that are really generally coincide with how people relate to us.
So black culture, because I'm not even going to say black people. I'm going to say black culture. Black culture is charged with the negative things, not because they're negative, but because that is the reputation or the perception of them that's been placed on them from the people that hold power. Just want to make sure that we all on the same page. He's saying that because black people hold no power, there should be no black fatigue relevancy in the United States of America.
What about white fatigue? See, Anton is never going to hold white people accountable for anything. He'll hold black people accountable. What about white fatigue? Charlie Kirk was unalived by a white person. White men tried to assassinate Donald Trump on 3 different attempts. A white man just shot up a church in Michigan and burned it down. A white man unalived 3 police officers in Pennsylvania last month. A white boy just unalived 3 black people in Ohio. And you got the nerve to talk about black fatigue? You got a lot of nerve to talk about black fatigue while ignoring the violent crimes that white men commit today. You got a lot of nerves, homeboy.
If this is not the most victim piece of nonsense that I've ever experienced in my entire life.
So it's okay for white people to speak from a position of victimhood. Blacks are always attacking white people. White people are notorious for taking people's land and colonizing lands, eliminating whole towns of people. But then a white man got the nerve to pretend to be a victim in 2025. Why don't you tell Steven Crowder and the rest of the white folks, stop pretending to be a victim? Nobody has victimized other races like white folks have done in this country and globally. White people don't have the room to complain about anything. When you look at the stuff that they did to other people and other races, they don't have the right to be complaining about anything. Whites were never enslaved in America. Blacks ain't never created laws to oppress them, but yet they still complain about what blacks are doing to them. When you compare what whites have done to us and you compare that to what we've done to them, it's not even comparable. See, what I wanted to do on this show, I wanted to provide balance. I spoke on some of the things that Anton was right about, but also I'm going to speak on the things that he's wrong about. And clearly he's wrong about this.
Because black people hold no power, there should be no black fatigue relevancy in the United States of America. if this is not the most victim piece of nonsense that I've ever experienced in my entire life. So, man, the thing about it is that people be acting like we don't see what we don't see. We seen you. They acting like the stats don't matter. That you're not more likely to have a child out of wedlock by being a part of the culture. And again, I'm being very careful about, and I always say culture, but people don't know the difference between the two. There's black people and then there's the culture. The culture is the thing that perpetuates and promotes the thing that's the worst for us. If you're, listen, growing up in the black community, if you are not a very strong-minded person, if you are not a headstrong person, you are going to be a statistic, not from the police, not from white people, not from any of that, but from what we have pushed on each other as a cultural norm.
You notice he never has criticism for white people, ever. Some of the things he says about black people is true. The problem is he never criticizes white people for everything, for anything. Anytime a white person has a complaint or something negative to say about black folks, he agrees with them. I don't see how y'all rock with this dude, right? Anybody can be right about something, right? You don't have to be a good person to be right about something, right? Because at some point, you know, people might be right about something, right? The thing is this, homie. He's not holding white people accountable for anything. And that's the problem that I have with this guy.
Let them tell it. Let's use myself as an example. Because I don't spit like this, cuz. No, little nigga. I ain't got nothing to do with that. No. G's up, hoes down. No, nigga, what you got going on? Because I don't have a felony, because I don't talk like a nigga, then nigga, you disconnected. You ain't from the hood. The worst thing in the culture is the peer pressure. And you know what the funniest part about it is that it doesn't change when you become 25, when you become 30, when you become 35, when you become 40, when you become 45. It's the same thing. And that is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. We hate, if you speak proper English, you talk like a white person. White people don't say that. White people don't say that. That's a black thing. We say code switch. If you believe in strong family values and you do not support people that want to support
Anton Daniels, listen, man, I'm real, man. Yes, you're right about some of the stuff you say, but you a Sambo because you don't hold white people accountable for anything. You agree with everything they say when there's something negative about black folks. But I've never seen you give white folks any smoke. I've never seen you give white people any pushback. This dude is a Sambo. Straight up. If you can call black people ghetto and ignorant, then you shouldn't mind people calling you a Sambo, especially if your behavior fits that, especially if your behavior falls in that category. You're a Sambo, bruh. Anton Daniels is here to agree with everything that white folks say. As long as it's something negative about black people, he's gonna agree with them 100% of the time.
Men going in women's bathrooms, then you against black women and you a coon, cuz. We promote prison. We promote criminal activity. You ain't never sold nothing in your life. I didn't know that I was supposed to. Is that a path of righteousness?
And guess what? White people look down on other white people who didn't hate black people. And guess what? They were labeled N-word lovers. If white people wasn't on code with other white people when it came to hating blacks, they were violently attacked. White people attacked their own people if they didn't hate black people. because they wanted all white people to subscribe to that anti-black mentality. And the whites who didn't want to subscribe to that anti-black mentality, they got dealt with extreme violence. They were taken out, and whites used extreme violence to make examples out of the so-called N-word lovers in their own community.
Is that like an initiation thing? If I
Bad stuff that's go wrong with this world, it's the black people's fault. We the smallest part of this country. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Beside the immigrants that come here. We have been tasked with the negative, the criminal, the immoral. That's us. And that's what we consider, that's white fatigue. But you know what we do? We just say, that's just how it's always been.
No,
So we don't make
you know what we say? Cap, you know what we say? Oh, you acting like a Karen. You acting like a Karen. That's what we used to say to him. All during the George Floyd protests, if a white woman confronted a black woman, and right or wrong, because a lot of them be overreacting, and that's just the facts, it's just the truth. If a white woman confront a black person, or they say, I'm going to call the police, oh man, they got another Karen on our hands. We got a Karen on our hands. This is the truth. Everybody got a stereotype. Everybody got a label. But because your label stuck, now you mad about it.
Words for it or terms for it. So now you have a frustrated group of white constituents that feel like, oh, we can't say anything. We have to do this. We have to do that so you don't be deemed as that. Well, if you wasn't that in the beginning to start with, there would be no need for the reform or the feelings that you have. You can't say anything about because you done treated us like shit for so long, and people finally stood up and said, hey, you got to stop treating us like shit. Now that you want to feel like, you know, things aren't going in the manner that you want them, now we want the right to keep saying those things.
What if your premise is completely flawed? And what I mean by that is, if we're trying to understand it, you said you have power in all those institutions.
Yes.
What if, for example, you have an entire generation of people, young white men, women, who if they apply to a college or apply to a job, they don't have a grant, there's no Pell Grant, there's no type of subsidy, there's no DEI initiative. As a matter of fact, they're likely to be passed over. They hold no institutional power. And when you say black people haven't done anything, when you think of this white person, a young white person, because I'm seeing some people become radicalized and it can become a problem. Yeah. And then they see billions of dollars and riots and damages all summer long, and then they go, why is this happening? Black Lives Matter, right? So they're going to make that connection. Now, they have no institutional power, but if they go into a neighborhood that's largely black, they're going to get the shit kicked out of them. And they're being blamed for something that supposedly their racist forefather did that they have nothing to do with. You think we're ever going to have unity? This is the problem. Unity, if let's say your dad's a or your grandfather's a and you walk up and you slap his teenager, you now have made that person hate you for life. And that's what I'm seeing with young, not even my generation.
White people already hated black people, right? So you can't use that as an excuse. Like, you want to talk about a white man being slapped. Man, white people have burned down our communities. They enslaved us. They put us through Jim Crow. You got black people who still get lynched today in sundown towns, and he got the nerve to say that a white person gonna hate a black person forever because a white man got slapped by a black man. He's not holding his people accountable for anything. I just showed you a video of a white boy unaliving 3 black people. They were Africans, but they're still black people. Steven Crowder is not going to say anything about the violent crimes that his own people commit. Listen, homie, white people in America hated blacks way before there was a such thing as ghetto and thug culture. If you go back to the 1920s, there was no such thing as thug culture. There was no such thing as ghetto culture or gang culture in the black community. And white people still hated us back then. All we did was go to church. We mind our business. We didn't bother nobody. We lived in our own communities due to segregation. And white people still hated us when we wasn't bothering them. So don't let them gaslight you by saying, well, the only reason that white people know you hated black folks since we've been in this country. Ever since the European had contact with black folks, you hated us already. It ain't got nothing to do with no thug culture. It ain't got nothing to do with any of this. You are gaslighting. Whites in America hated black people way before thug culture ever existed in the black community.
Younger people are going, I had nothing to do with this shit. They came up during the riots. They've come up under DEI, and they're seeing a 12-time murder rate, skyrocketing crime, and any proposals they make, not holding institutional power, shut down as racist.
Now, why was DEI even instituted in the first place? Because for the majority of time that black people have been in this country and been free, we've been denied so much. Somebody somewhere had to put some things in place to provide access of some kind.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to be 100% real with y'all. I'm not even going to speak to the talking points because I think that Steven Crowder is articulating himself very, very well. Steven Crowder got to get into a room with more intellectual black people. I'm just going to keep it 100% with you. I'm keeping it 100% with you. Steven Crowder has to get into a room.
No, he does not, because Steven Crowder is not being honest. He's gaslighting. Not once did Steven Crowder mention anything that white people do wrong in this country. All he did was point the finger at black people to tell us what we're doing wrong. He didn't criticize his people for nothing. Not once did he mention anything that white people do wrong. So I disagree with that. Steven Crowder is not being honest. He came there to blame black people while ignoring the stuff that white people have done in this country. He's ignoring the negative stuff that white people do while pointing the finger at black people, trying to place all the blame on us.
With more intellectual black people, because for this guy in particular, he's talking way over his head, bro. He's talking way over his head. How do you know, Anton? Well, he starts going into DEI. Well, somebody had to put something in place in the first place because we was getting... No. The history of it is you basically had real racism inside of the United States of America. You had real racism, like undeniably real racism, segregation, the whole 9 yards. And black people of yesteryear faced real discrimination. And so what they did was they abolished certain things and then they instituted affirmative action to basically allow for black people to have an opportunity where they otherwise never would have been accepted or had an opportunity before. It's almost like the unions. The unions were created at a time where you actually needed some level of representation for the worker. But the problem is that DEI is not the same as what black people needed from affirmative action in order to give them opportunities in yesteryear. You're not facing the same thing that your ancestor faced, right? They fought for you to be able to vote, but you only vote. All I hear when I talk to black men on a regular basis about why you didn't vote is, man, that shit don't matter, man. I don't even care. We got a different type of black person that exists today. We have a different type of black person today. Affirmative action was hijacked by the feminist movement. Feminism then became the alphabet community. Well, it was different waves of feminism. Then it became the alphabet community agenda. Then it turned into DEI. So basically what happened was, as long as you are not a white man, now you are considered a minority. Now you are considered a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So white women benefit from DEI too, huh? Tons of white women benefit from DEI. But you want to make it seem like it's only black people. And my thing is this: most black people don't even benefit from DEI. They don't. What are you talking about? Steven Crowder is a hypocrite and a racist. Steven Crowder never holds his own people accountable for the violent crimes they commit. Not once did he point out anything that whites are doing wrong in this country. Not once. And Anton Daniels agrees with him.
It wasn't even meant for you. They've turned black into black and brown. They've turned gay, which is a lifestyle choice, into And diversity,
No,
equity, and
he's right
inclusion.
about that. They did this fake black and brown stuff to take away from the things that we fought for, and they added other groups into the mix. Then they talked about, the rainbow community wanted to adopt our struggles. They tried to compare what they go through to what blacks have gone through in this country. The rainbow community, you cannot compare what they've gone through to what blacks in general has gone through in this country. It's not even comparable. The rainbow community, that is a lifestyle. Blacks in this country were punished just for being black. Just because white folks didn't like the color of your skin, just because white folks didn't like who you are. So you can't compare the rainbow community's issues. You can't compare the rainbow community and their issues to the black issues. It's not the same. It's not even comparable.
Now, if you are a gay white woman, you are considered with a little bit of black person in you, and you talking to a black man. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. So him even having this conversation, it's coming from a perspective of a person that's using talking points and not a person that actually.
See, unfortunately, we got a lot of weak black men like Anton Daniels in our community. The same way I gave black women smoke, I got to give black men some smoke. We got a lot of weak black men in our community who think like Anton Daniels, who blames black people for everything, but hold white people accountable for nothing. And unfortunately, we got a lot of black men who are like this in our community. We got some black female Republicans too, and I'm gonna get on their headpiece in a minute. But right now, I'm talking about Anton Daniels and the weak black men that we have in our community. They don't stand for nothing. They'll say anything to please white folks as long as they can get paid doing it.
Stands a history of why we came into this space in the first place and why we needed to abolish diversity, equity, and inclusion, which goes back into the whole black fatigue conversation because it's the loudest but the least accountable. It's the loudest, but it's the least accountable. First of all, you got to hold black people accountable for aligning with people that didn't have your best interests at heart.
What do you hold white people accountable for? He's saying we need to hold black people accountable. Okay, cool. When do you hold white people accountable? We got to hold black folks accountable. We got to hold black folks accountable. When do you hold white people accountable for anything, sir? Not once in this video did he hold white people accountable for anything.
Why we needed to abolish diversity, equity, and inclusion, which goes back into the whole black fatigue conversation because it's the loudest.
I am going to call out the black female sellouts. I will call out them. See, black women get mad. Most of the time when I'm calling somebody out for being a sellout, it's black men. By large, I hold black men accountable for being sellouts and sambos. But black women don't want any criticism. When I hold black women accountable for being feminists, when I hold black women accountable for being, pretty much like I said, when I hold them accountable for being feminists, they don't want to hear that. Oh, you hate black women because you're holding them accountable. It's mighty funny that none of those black women who say that, it's mighty funny that they never get upset when I hold black men accountable. They be the main ones in the comment section supporting and sending cash apps when I hold black men accountable. But when it's time to hold black women accountable, they disappear and you don't see them no more.
The least accountable. It's the loudest, but it's the least accountable.
And I'm pretty sure you guys notice that anytime I hold black women accountable, you never see the same black women in the comment section. You will see black women in the comment section when I hold black men accountable, but when it's time to hold them accountable, they don't want to hear it and they disappear. They fall off the map and you don't see them no more. So that proves everything that I said. Black women are cool with you criticizing black men, but they got a major problem when you criticize them.
You got to hold black people accountable for aligning with people that didn't have your best interests at heart and hijacked your movement. It's so many layers to this conversation. Black fatigue is basically a lack of accountability, but still being an ignorant person in public for everybody to see and then also doing things that's not
I'm
conducive
gonna
for
call
your
out these female tap dancers too, man. I'm gonna do, like I said, I got this series about white fatigue. A lot of these female sellouts, they're gonna get this smoke. Anton Daniels, a lot of these black men who are sellouts and sambos, they're gonna continue to get this smoke. I just find it funny that black women get mad when I hold them accountable for anything. None of those black women have a problem when I'm calling out weak black men, when I'm calling out black men who are sambos. They don't have a problem with that. They only get mad when it's time to hold them accountable for their actions.
lifestyle, which also represents and reflects badly on your entire race or the entire group of people that look like you, because now it becomes a stereotype because it's become a norm. If it's a cultural norm, it's expected, or you can anticipate 9 times out of 10 that that is the thing that you're going to experience if you just so happen to be a white person or Asian person or Hispanic person going into a space that is predominantly black. It just is what it is. If I talk to a woman that is single at 35 years old, 9 times out of 10, she is going to have a baby daddy that got a baby with another woman, and then she's probably going to have another baby and or say, where's all of the good men out here? If you go into a restaurant and you see a group of black women come in, it is a strong possibility that they're going to be very demanding, a little light on the check when it comes to tipping. They're going to take up your whole section for the entire time that you're there. And then they're going to sit there and look at you with an attitude if you didn't get their lettuce right. And they're going to take a piece of their hair out, pluck, throw it in they food and say, oh, it's a piece of hair in there. You need to take off the bill. That's black fatigue. I'm giving you a real example of what that looks like. Everybody knows that you have a less likely chance of getting a decent tip and they're going to take up your section for the entire time that they're there if it's a group of black women. That's not a secret. Worst tippers, loudest talkers, always want you to run back and forth, and they expect for you to jump through hoops because they them. This is not a secret. Now you have a much greater chance of getting a better tip if she just so happens to be with a man. Stereotypes aren't given their earn. It's just the facts. So now when I walk into a restaurant and I am a very generous tipper because I appreciate people and the service that they give, subconsciously, I already know that I'm being sized up. Why? Because it was a nigga that came before me that decided that they wanted to exercise their right to embrace the culture in the most negative way possible, which left a bad impression. But then we gonna sit here and say, hey, why you not treating me the same way? What you mean? I can't erase what they just experienced right before I came in the door. So now I got to be on my best behavior. Now I got to be on my best behavior. See, KL, the KL says they don't care, AD, we have to separate ourselves. We can separate ourselves all we want, but it doesn't mean that our reputation is not going to be the same because we identify the same. So we can separate ourselves, right? But the problem is that we all still congregate in the same spaces, even though we don't have the same behavior. So now we come in with, behind the 8 ball, not because people don't like us, but because you decided that you wanted to do some dumb shit, and now I have to pay the price for it. That's the truth, right? That is where the fatigue come from. Is you, I can do it.
Now you see how he's blaming blacks for everything. He ain't held white people accountable for one thing. See, I'm gonna be real with you guys, and I'm not gonna hold no punches, and I don't care who gets mad. Now, when he was talking about Tiffany Cross feminism and how these women be saying that black men are jealous of them, he's right about that, right? So I got to say that he's right about that. You know, when he talks about liberals and feminists and, you know, females who don't know how to get a husband and they got the nerve to say where all the good man is at, where all the good men at. He's right about that. But when it comes to issues like this, when it's time to hold white people accountable for something, he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna hold white folks accountable for nothing. In the eyes of Anton Daniels, white folks could do no wrong, and that's why you never hear. This is why you never hear him criticize them or give them pushback for anything, because in his eyes, white folks can do no wrong. Black folks need to be held accountable, but white folks, nah, white folks ain't doing nothing wrong.
1,000 different examples. I'm not gonna do it. I can do 1,000 different examples. 1,000 different examples. And everybody has a stereotype, right? White people got it, black people got it, Asian people got it, whatever, so on and so forth. It's going to be a stereotype because there's some truth in it. There is some truth in it. And listen, this ain't coming from white.
All right. You already know that Anton ready to take his last breath before he hold white folks accountable for anything. I think we all know that.
I genuinely do.
This fool would literally take his last breath before he holds white people accountable for anything.
This message, and she said, "Good night, Dad. I love you so much. I appreciate everything you do for me. You really are my best friend." I said, "Oh." Had a little bit of tearing up going on here in this eye and in this eye. Had a little bit of tearing up going up in this eye and in that eye. Cause she was, you know, she was on my back. And so we went and we moved the cars around and we talked about what we wanted to do with the cars. Then we was all planning the trip together and all of that stuff. And, you know, picking a seats on a flight and stuff. And then she put on my hoodie and she was imitating me. And then we was just sitting there rolling around and laughing and stuff. And then she sends me that the text message last night at 11:04 before she went to bed. And that junk just did something to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I love my little girl. She always going to be my little girl to me, regardless of how old she is. She's 17 now. But I love that girl. That girl is so sweet. I've got a phenomenal relationship. Girls, we got to stop. That's not something... I don't think that having a strong mother and a strong father in the household with you should be an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shouldn't be. People shouldn't use that as a one-up on you. Oh, man, you ain't been through nothing because you had both your parents in your life. Like, yeah, nigga, that's what we supposed to do. What are you talking about? That shouldn't be like a one-up on somebody or you trying to like make it seem like they disconnected.
He's right about that right there. You know, a lot of black folks think because, well, you haven't, you know, had to go through this because you had both of your parents. You should have both of your parents. When you don't have both of your parents, that is called dysfunction. Single mother households brings chaos and corruption and a whole lot of dysfunction. What are you talking about? So black folks, we do got to quit saying that, right? You know, they try to wear this. And the thing that I don't like about what our people do, look at a lot of these rappers. The moment they get money, what do? They talk bad about broke people all day. But then he'll tell you, I'm real because I come from the struggle. So you're real because you come from the struggle. That makes you real. But the moment that he gets money, he clown those same people who are still in the struggle, who are still broke. Make it make sense. What they'll say is, I'm real because I grew up poor and I came from the ghetto, and they'll wear that shit like a badge of honor. But the moment they get money, they make fun of those same people who are still struggling in that community. Make it make sense.
Why is it normal for us to be in a space to where you don't have your mother and your father in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that a thing? That in my personal opinion, in my personal unprofessional opinion, that should never be the case. And it should be abnormal. We should be looking.
Black people who grow up in single mother households try to make fun of people who grew up with both parents. So he's right about that. I like when somebody says something that's true, I gotta admit it. I don't have to like him to agree with something if he's right. Black people who grew up in dysfunctional households try to make fun of people who had both of their parents. That is the stupidest thing that I ever heard, but unfortunately, a lot of people in our community, they do that.
Looking like, wait a minute, you ain't got both of your parents in your life? Like, we should be shaming people and instead of enabling them with bad behavior by saying, oh, it's cool. You know what? That's normal. That should be normal. Like, you shouldn't get extra accolades for taking care of your kids. And so what we have to do is we have to start choosing better. You got to choose better and stop making excuses why we can't find, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we so broken? Why are we so messed up to where it's normal to be apt to be stupid or to have broken homes and stuff? What are we doing? Like, everybody should experience love that you have with your parent. You should be raised in a 2-parent household. Everybody should be, that should be the standard in the United States of America. It should not be the other way. Am I off? Am I off? I don't know, man. I'm so confused, but we here, and I just want to say out loud before we get started with the show, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. You are the greatest. I live a life. We live a life. We got this great community. We live this life that is second to none. And I appreciate you. I genuinely do appreciate you. Lord, you are the greatest of all time. I don't even know what it feels like to be hated anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? All I know is love. I'm just so excited about life and opportunity and the new things that's ahead of us. Looking forward to the next year, looking forward to next month, looking forward to next week, looking forward to this afternoon. I am just so excited and thankful for the life that I have and the people that are around me and the people that support me and the opportunities that we have and the chasers. Shout out to the bag chasers. Shout out to the chasers. I just love God. I do. I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful. And I do. I feel bad for people that live a life where the only thing they have in it is negativity. I do. I feel so bad for y'all. And then I wake up and I stop feeling bad for y'all because you won't choose better. You won't do better. You still dusty. I feel bad for people that have suffered in their relationships. I do. I do. Sometimes I know that people lashing out at me is really them lashing out at their situation. Because even if they talk negatively about you, it doesn't change the fact that it's not me. That's why it's so difficult to get offended. It's so difficult to get offended. It's almost like no guy gets mad or offended when somebody says, "Oh, you broke and you rich." It's like, okay, you got it. Nobody should be offended if somebody says, "Well, that's why you've been married for 20 years." Facts. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody say, "Yeah, you know, they want to he about to break up," or it's like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's why you've been stuck in Detroit. You stayed in Detroit your whole life. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel you. I feel you. I've been to places on this globe. I've been to almost every state in the United States of America. I've explored places that people will never see in their lifetime in real time. It's like, how can I complain? God, you are the greatest. God, you are the greatest. You are the greatest of all time. Somebody send me a video. Y'all got to stop sending me these videos. Listen, please, for the sake of God, for the love of God, please stop sending me. I don't want to see them. You know what I'm saying? Somebody sent me a video. Somebody said, ha ha, he got 1 million subscribers and they not checking for him. What? What do you mean? I do 100 million views almost a month. What do you mean? I can't walk 2 city blocks downtown Detroit without somebody coming up to me and taking a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? You know how accomplished it is to get 1 million subscribers? You know how difficult it is to get to 1 million subscribers? Are you shaming me for get to 1 million? you don't send it to me. Leave me in my delusion. Please, y'all, just let me live this delusional life that I have, where I'm so in the clouds, where I'm so disillusioned. I haven't even dropped a vlog. I got a vlog that I already got, and I'm trying to figure out when I want to schedule it to go out. Do I schedule it to go out today? Do I wait for it? Because I'm leaving the one where I'm getting all the hate from, because people can't wait to see the hate. Like, people are. I was having a conversation with 2K, and we about to get into the show. I was having a conversation with 2K on After Hours on Tuesday. And I told 2K, I said, man, black people are the most negative people that you will ever walk into on the face of this earth. Inherently. I believe it's a hate gene that's born in their heart, like the core of them. And some of us get out of it, and that's how we leave the Democratic plantation. Black people, they got this hate in their heart. It's broken. It's a brokenness. And that's why our relationships, that's why exponentially you see most of the relationships are broken. That's why you see so many broken households. You see so many broken relationships. People be hating their baby mama and stuff like that. They be hating they hate their own parents. I'm never talking to my parents again. What? What do you mean? It's your parents. How you gonna not talk to your parents ever again? Man, forget that hoe, man. I ain't never talking to her again. I'm gonna just wait till the kid get big. So you gonna wait 2 decades before you speak to your kid? Really? And it's gotta be something that's been like cursed on us. It's something in us. Like when we see somebody else doing good, we could never ever meet them before in our life. You could never even see them. You just see them on the internet. Niggas be like, I knew it. Like, what do you mean? You want him to lose? Why would you want him to lose? He's doing good. Congratulate him. Like, celebrate him. You don't like that? That bothers you? You can find some negativity in them winning? Okay. Well, listen, God bless you. Because they got to go home with themselves at the end of the day. They got to go home with themselves. They got to live in a house with the person that they hate, that they sleep next to every day, with the kids that don't like them and they don't like their kids. It's a sad, miserable. Man, I would be like, it ain't even worth living. It can't be worth living. I love the people that I'm around every day. I love hanging out with my daughter and everybody. It's just a fun existence. No? You went 10 years without speaking to any members of your family? Rich, Jesus. That had to be pretty miserable. I don't want to do that. Razik says it be like that, Anton. Just be thankful you never had to experience it. I'm not thankful that.
My thing is this, bro. This guy right here never holds whites accountable for anything.
That I never had to experience it. I chose to not do it. I chose to speak to my family. I chose to honor my mother and my father. I choose to not have beef with people that I know in real life. I choose to surround myself with people that add value into my life, and then I can add value into their life. As an adult, I don't have to. I don't have this. It's not about me experiencing it. It's about the fact that I choose not to live in that existence. I choose not to be negative. I choose to love people. Like I don't want to live like that. Some family ain't worth it, bro. What do you mean some family ain't worth it? So you're going to beef with your people just because you don't necessarily care for something that they do or they say? Like, look, I don't have to spend all of my time with you to say, I rock with you or to check up on you or whatever. Like, I don't have to, we don't have to do business together. I just said, when I see you at Thanksgiving, it's all love. I can't wait to see you, man. I'm excited about seeing you. How y'all been? Listen, y'all got to get that hate. Honest to God, bro. You got to get that hate out of your heart. That forgiveness is for you. It's to release you so that you can have joy and peace and love in your life, and you don't have any kind of regret, and you don't hold anything against anybody, any resentment. Your cousin is trans and ruining the family. Now, I feel you, Aaliyah, but that's only one person. I don't have to agree with what you do, but I don't have to hate you either, is what I'm saying. When I see you, it's going to be like, oh, what up? And I can keep it moving. If I never ever, like if I don't see you for the next 5 years.
So we going to wrap this show up, man. This Samboism, this coonery is just way over the top. Support the show. What we're trying to do is this, you guys. We're trying to get some people that was on Red Supreme TV1. If you was rock with me on Red Supreme TV1, come on over here to King Supreme and show some love and support over here on this channel. He agrees with white people anytime they have something negative to say about us. Now, my thing is this. I agree with some of the things he said about black people because I've said some of these things about black people. But at the same time, this is where the balance comes in. I'll hold white people accountable just like I hold my own people accountable. I'm not biased when it comes to accountability. He only has negative things to say about black people when he agrees with white people anytime they have something negative to say. That's his problem.
I don't agree with your lifestyle, and I'm not going to endorse it. And I don't have to hate. I don't have to feel no type of way because I'm not carrying.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up, man. I think I didn't say it enough. I'm just sick of listening to this dude. But the problem is you got a lot of black people who rock like this. They rock with this, right? And there's a ton of black people who still support this dude, right? Seriously. He get a lot of support over there talking his nonsense, and black people still be over there rocking with it. Right? A broken clock is right sometimes. So it doesn't matter. Like, yes, he's right about some of the things he say, but at the same time, he's not honest with white people, and he never has anything negative at all to say about white people. So I'm gonna get up out of here, you guys.